Real Virginia is proudly produced by the Virginia Farm Bureau Federation. Since 1926, Farm Bureau has been working to preserve Virginia farms and our rural heritage. Visit our website at vafb.com.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart always.
Hello everyone and welcome to Real Virginia, a show about Virginia agriculture and the people who produce all the wonderful products we enjoy, brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau.
It's becoming easier to eat fresh local foods year-round, even in restaurants. If you're gearing up for spring gardening, you may want to consider a cold frame. Meanwhile, we pay a visit to one of Virginia's most popular farmers markets in the wintertime.
Welcome back everyone. We are coming to you from historic Ashland, Virginia and Cross Brothers grocery store. We're going to take a sneak peek inside in just a few. But first, we want to talk a little bit about the eating local trend. It is huge all across the nation. And in fact, there are some restaurants in Virginia that are completely devoted to locally sourced foods. Turns out, it's something you can do at home too.
Dining out can take your palate on a culinary adventure, but what if your adventure started and ended right in your community? That's the reason behind locally sourced menus all across the country, including a Richmond social eatery, the Broken Tulip. This restaurant's chef builds his weekly menu solely from food items close to home that are in season. Chef and owner David Crabtree Logan is a Scotsman who trained in some of Europe's top-rated restaurants. He creates multi-course menus featuring local farm-fresh foods each Thursday through Saturday night and for Sunday brunch.
It takes a long time to realize the importance of your ingredients. It's not about trying to be clever and trying to put, 100 things on a plate. It's about getting the best ingredients and treating them to show them at their very best.
The highest quality foods Crabtree Logan can find come from local producers like Chris Stem. Stem and his partner operate the Ashland Meat Company at Cross Brothers in historic Ashland, Virginia. The business has been around since 1912 and it is known for providing high quality, fresh local meat cuts and other locally sourced food products.
I think there's been a long time belief that local is seasonal and local is too expensive. And that's the whole point of us being here today, is that we want people to be able to go to their neighborhood market and find the products that are made by their family and their friends and that are year-round. Whether that be produce, meats, or grocery items, everything is produced year-round. It's just maybe what exactly is being produced at that time.
The Broken Tulip's menu does not stop with local meats, even in the dead of winter. Sarianne Layer, the co-owner and Crabtree Logan's wife, says that while operating a restaurant based solely on local foods isn't easy, it sets them apart from other eateries. For her, providing locally sourced food for her customers isn't just about serving the meal, it's about connecting the diner to the community.
There's a reason that restaurants don't do it, and the margins are even lower than they are in regular restaurant setting. But we believe that it's important for people to see that these foods can be used year-round in delicious, great ways.
Although buying locally grown food is not a new trend, the local food movement has certainly picked up momentum in recent years. According to the food industry research firm Package Facts, local food sales have doubled since 2014. Even after a winter snow blanketed Tompton Farm, the owners hurriedly harvested fresh greens last month. Those greens eventually made their way to Crabtree Logan's menu. Brian Gerritsen and his partner Autumn Campbell sell organic produce and herbs at local markets, restaurants, and CSA shares. Like other winter producers, they are meeting consumer demand in Central Virginia for local food 365 days a year.
Food is available fresh from farms year-round. You have to find the farmers that are willing to want to trudge out in the mud and the slush to get it. But there are people out there. There are, especially in, I know in the Richmond area and even in Northern Virginia, there are farmers that are coming year-round. So it's out there. It just it takes the consumer a little bit more effort.
Our group of 5 farms produce year-round for us, and we have 1 or 2 that are really our big producers through the winter time. There's one of our farms prefers their winter crops over their summer crops, so that was a really great connection for us to make, because they enjoy farming in the winter more than they do in the summer, and that's kind of the time where we need the most input from the farms, is during the winter time.
The food is served at the Broken Tulip as a communal dining experience. Guests share their fare at a farm-style table in a quaint dining room. The atmosphere is warm and connecting, much like their food.
You know, we want to welcome them like we welcome them into our home, and just, you know, make sure everyone's looked after. That's really the aim here at the Broken Tulip.
Crabtree Logan says many of their customers are surprised to know so many delicious foods are available in Virginia year-round. He likes his guests to understand how important it is to support local farmers as well as leave satisfied with their dining experience. To find out more about how you can find locally sourced food in Virginia, go to virginiafarmtotable.org.
Glass greenhouses used to be one of the only ways growers could extend the growing season for fresh produce. But in addition to construction costs, they can be expensive to heat. In the past decade, unheated hoop houses have become a very popular alternative for many small growers. Thanks to solar energy and maybe a few small space heaters, these clear plastic-covered structures often allow growers to raise fresh produce almost year-round. Not only does a hoop house cost far less than a greenhouse to build, there are several grant programs available for beginning farmers.
Hi, today we're going to be talking about cold frames for the garden from the ground up. Please stay tuned.
Farm Bureau is the insurance provider of choice for farmers. But did you know all Virginians can benefit? In fact, most of our members are not farmers. As a member, you are supporting worthy causes like local Virginia food banks and the Ag in the Classroom program. Your $40 membership will easily pay for itself with the many savings options as well. Farm Bureau is made for Virginians. To learn more about the membership advantage, go to vafb.com or visit your local Farm Bureau.
Many home gardeners try to get a jump on the season each year. Chris Mullins with Virginia Cooperative Extension shows us how to do it in an affordable way from the ground up.
Well, hi and welcome. Today we're at Virginia State University's Randolph Farm, and we're going to be talking about cold frames. Now, what is a cold frame? A cold frame is basically just a structure that you can use in your garden to extend your growing season. It's something that you might have earlier in the spring to put transplants in to harden them off, or maybe to have plants growing. It might be something you might have in the fall or even all the way through the winter time. And it might look a lot like this. It's just something that you might build that's got a top on it that lets light come through so you can grow your plants. And this is one that I put together pretty quick. It's made out of mostly just repurposed materials. There's pallet material here. This is just where a pallet's been taken apart and we've just used that lumber. There's some old decking boards that are up there that somebody gave me that we've used, some old plywood type material here, and then this is just a storm window, something that we had laying around, wasn't being used anymore, and it's really nice for a structure like this, and you can actually just open it up pretty easily. So this is what you would use to ventilate the structure. You just open it up like this or close it when it gets too cold out. So let me finish putting this together, and then we'll show you how you would actually use this in the field. Well, one of the things you want to do is make sure when you're siting this to face it south. That way you get maximum sunlight, especially in the colder part of the year. Also, you want a little bit of an angle on your cold frame with the glass, the top part anyway, so that you get maximum sunlight, but you also have things like rain and snow will kind of roll off there. So once you've got this built, then you've got to put your plants in there, and you have to think about management. On a cloudy day like today, it's in the 40s, this would mostly be closed all day long to make sure that the plants are okay. But if it's bright outside, if there's any sun, even on a cold day, you want to vent this. You know, and this one you just move the window and close it. Others you would do it in different ways. Well, especially in the springtime, as you're thinking about putting your transplants out into the garden, you might want to harden them off first. Get them out in the cold weather, in the wind, and the sunlight, and make sure that they're ready for the garden. And one of the ways you can do that is put it in the cold frame, keep them warm at night. And one of the ways you can kind of keep this warm, other than just closing and opening the vents, you could add maybe insulation board, something like this, that you could put in here, line the box with it, and maybe even a little bit into the ground to kind of keep it a little warm. Another way you can do that is maybe with a milk jug, painting it black, putting water in it, putting a few of these in here. As they absorb heat during the day, it'll release that heat during night and maybe keep it a little warmer in there. Well, for more information about how to build one of these, or really how to manage a cold frame, contact your local county extension office and talk to a master gardener. For From the Ground Up, I'm Chris Mullins. I'll see you next time.
From the Ground Up is presented with the generous advice and assistance of Virginia Cooperative Extension. Visit their website at ext.vt.edu.
Winter is the perfect time to use hearty root vegetables in your recipes. Chef John Maxwell has a recipe for Virginia beets next in the Heart of the Home.
And now, a sneak peek into a day in the life of a Virginia dairy cow. They get their day started. They have some lunch. Get some exercise. Spend time with their friends. And then end their day with dairy sweet dreams. Real dairy, real life, real delicious.
Beets and cheese sound like an unusual combination, but not so for our Chef Maxwell, who uses them in a recipe for a winter salad in the heart of the home.
Hi, welcome to the Heart of the Home. I'm Chef John Maxwell, and we're here at Meadow Hall and Meadow Event Park in Doswell, Virginia. And every week we get to play with some great Virginia food. This is a little bit cooler weather, so it's a little harder to find the good variety that we'd like to see from the garden. But we've got one item that is just a star this time of year, and that's beets. Good for you, full of phosphorus, full of iron, just wonderful vegetable. And this is the time it shines. So we're going to make a beet salad, a roasted red beet salad. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut the heads off the beet, oil them, and put them into the oven. Things like the beet greens, collards, things of that nature are all good winter options. All right, so we got that. I'm going to take a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. All right, rub these around. Make sure they're coated good. All right. I'm going to sprinkle them with some salt. And we're going to take the skins off, so I'm not too worried about the amount of salt that I'm putting on it. I want it to crisp up the skin a little bit so it's easier to pull off and to savor it. All right, so I'm going to go into the oven with this. And this is not particularly a time-sensitive thing. This is going to take 30 minutes to cook those beets down to where you can pass a toothpick into it and it goes through smoothly. Okay, well, we've done a couple of things off camera. We baked the beets in the oven. We pulled them out, cooled them down for a little while, right? And then I peeled them. So I've got peeled beets that have been cooked sitting here, right? So what I'm going to do now is dice these up and put them into this bowl, so that we can make our salad. But I'm going to now cut these into kind of like a medium dice. I'm wearing gloves. I'm worried about my skin color, right? So the beets will get on you. It's not horrible because lemon juice will usually take it off. So I've got some diced beets there. I'm going to grab a lemon. Going to roll it to break the cell structure so that the juice can come out. And I'm going to put a little bit of lemon juice on that. And I'm going to put some lemon juice in here. I'm going to add some extra virgin olive oil, salt, and pepper. All right. So I'm going to whisk this a little bit. I'm going to now dress these beets, these diced beets, right, with a little bit of the salad dressing that we made earlier. Right, I'm just going to toss that around a little bit. And now I'm going to take some greens, right, and go down into this salad dressing as well. So I'm going to just kind of turn that around. I just want to coat the leaves. I don't want it really heavily seasoned, because I still want it to have some fluff, some height. All right, so we're going to set that in the middle of this plate. All right, so that's there. Get this out of the way. Now I'm going to take and put the beets on top. That looks good. I think that's fine. I'm going to take some feta cheese and sprinkle it around. I don't know about you, but I love feta cheese. And Virginia's got a great cheese industry. All right, let's see what we got here. It looks like we've got everything set for a wonderful meal. We've got the beets, the dressed greens, and the cheese on top. It's protein, it's vegetable, lots of iron in those beets. So join us next week on Heart of the Home, where we get to play with great Virginia food.
Recipes from the heart of the home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafb.com, as well as on Chef Maxwell's website at chefjohnmaxwell.com. Beets are strictly a fresh market crop in Virginia. They're grown for commercial sale on 82 farms in the Old Dominion and are a staple at hundreds of farmers markets across the state. Being a root vegetable, beets store well for the winter months and are often one of the few fresh vegetables available almost year-round. Beets are usually planted in the spring, but they can also be planted in the fall to overwinter in milder climates. They need lots of sun and protection from heavy wind. They should be planted 2 to 3 inches apart in rows 1 to 2 feet apart.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
It's tough to grow fresh local food in the winter time, and in fact, some farmers markets close for the season. But as Dave Miller shows us, there are some that stay open, and he visited one market where the producers share their passion for growing local foods year-round.
The South of the James Farmers Market is ranked among the top 20 markets in the country. It's become a favorite community event featuring fresh fruits, vegetables, meats, wines, arts and crafts, and more.
We go all 12 months of the year, all 52 Saturdays, rain, snow. We have vendors that come from all across the state, but they can only sell things they make or produce themselves. And you can ask questions, and that's part of the platform that we've created here is we want that dialogue. We do that through our social media, and we also do it through, just you can come here weekly, and most of our vendors here are the people who actually created what they brought or grew what they have.
Farmers and vendors here love to talk about their products and cultivate regular customers and friends. They're so close that after the market closes, they'll often trade surplus products with each other before heading home. Martin Smith leaves his home in South Hill at 4:30 a.m. every summer weekend to make the trip to Richmond for the market. He gets to sleep in for the shorter winter markets, leaving at 5:30 a.m.
it's the best way for us to meet our customers and get in front of the customers that want our product. They really want to see who's producing the product. It's a wave that's been going on for 10 years, and it's getting more popular every year. So we're out here to give our customers an alternative to commercialized sausage production, a good, clean, healthy product.
Farmers markets are not just trendy anymore, they're a valuable part of the local farm economy. The U.S. Department of Agriculture estimates direct sales from producers to the public topped $8.7 billion in 2015. So it's no surprise that more markets are trying to operate year-round. Village Garden RVA is another member of the South of the James Market. They've solved the problem of winter weather by staying small and undercover for most of the year. David Hunsaker and Barbara Hollingsworth Micro Farm only covers 1 acre of land, yet they produce unique tomato varieties, hundreds of different types of chili peppers, duck and chicken eggs year-round. They also sell spice grinders of everything from Himalayan salt to hot and spicy chili and herb blends.
We have a passion for food. We have a passion for diversity. We love to work with area chefs. Most of the really high-end restaurants in town really love our product and use our tomatoes. And they make some fantastic things that are just beautiful to look at, delicious to taste. And that present an opportunity for people here in this area to really try something new. You know, there are thousands of varieties of tomatoes, thousands of varieties of chilies, many chilies in the Andes yet to even be discovered and domesticated. So there's so much diversity out there that we are blessed with on this planet, but it's gradually depleting as we eat less food that is diverse, as we try to find that square tomato that you can ship 2,000 miles and that keeps for months at a time. We're kind of the opposite end of that spectrum. We want people to be exposed to all the wonderful things in nature's bounty, because if we don't eat these things, if we don't grow these things, they're going to disappear from our biosphere.
The greenhouse dome at Village Garden RVA houses mainly chili plants. A half-acre tomato garden produces thousands of pounds of tomatoes, and they use a separate greenhouse to give their outside tomato plants an early start each spring. Plus, Barbara is passionate about her flock of 24 ducks.
I love ducks because they're just beautiful. Everybody's got to agree with that. And they're a little more personable than a chicken. And they just produce the most wonderful egg you have ever had in your life. They're high in beta-carotene, they're healthier for you. You get a larger yolk, so you get a richer, more creamier egg. And a lot of the area restaurants use our eggs in their restaurants on their menu. So, and a lot of people cannot usually find duck eggs in a grocery store. You usually have to go to an international store, so it's really fun to be able to offer something different at the farmers market.
The South of the James Market has grown to 100 vendors over the years and has been ranked as a top destination market on several websites. It's nestled on 42nd Street in a corner of Forest Hill Park in South Richmond and is a family favorite for many shoppers. The Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services lists at least a dozen farmers markets that are open year-round. So don't let winter weather stop you. Bundle up and visit a farmer's market today. In Richmond, Virginia, I'm Dave Miller.
That's going to do it for this edition of Real Virginia. We are so glad you could join us to celebrate the bounty Virginia has to offer. Whether it's in your home, your garden, or your landscape, we are proud to say that this is Real Virginia. So for everyone from the Virginia Farm Bureau, thanks for watching. Make it a good week.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay.